All good? Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on a Sunday for us to be able to give this update. I'm here with Superintendent David Cooper. I'm here with Mark Summers from Essential, and I'm here with Sam Pickering from Transgrid, and of course the member for Barwon, Roy Butler. Roy and I have just actually come back from this morning for visiting the Transgrid site where the towers are being replaced. I just wanted to place on record our deep gratitude to the many staff who are working very hard. There's now over 100 staff on site. They're working over 24-hour shifts. We were shown around today the progress. We have positive news, which is that there are 2 towers are up, and we were seeing a third one beginning to get put into place. We're very hopeful for a 4th today, but that's subject to the wind. It was a bit windy out there today and a lot of dust. But look, they're ready to go, and that's working really well. So I just wanted to put on record our deep thanks to those workers. They're managing really well, and to Sam and to Kieran, who also took us around. Really just wanted to say thanks. In terms of an update for today, I can tell you this. For the second night in a row, power remained on to all of the Far West region, thanks to the network of generators now in place that are supplying Broken Hill, Tibooburra, Wilcannia, Menindee, White Cliffs, Silverton and several other remote communities. All customers of the Far West region have power. There was no need for load shedding during yesterday's evening peak, and again thank everyone who is reducing any reduction in usage from 5:30 onwards is really making a difference and helping us manage through this. At the moment, the advice is that from Essential and from Transgrid, there's not any planned outages for the next 48 hours. The main backup generator is operational. We know that this sort of people are worried about how that's going, but that is our advice is that it's going well. We've also had Transgrid, and I'm sure that Sam will be able to talk to the more technical details of this. The backup generators are now operational, and the other point is that the solar battery has also been tested and will be ready to help with the peaks that are going there. Yesterday, Roy and I went and visited 3 communities. We went to Tibooburra, we went to Milparinka, and we went to Packsaddle. The communities are very relieved to have power back on, but I particularly just want to thank them for their time and understanding as we've been working through these issues. Just want to say it's a very practical and resilient communities in the Far West. They've really had a lot of good ideas and they had good suggestions, but they had questions. The main issue is that everyone needs information, so hopefully the information is going really well. We've already acted on some of their questions. For example, the messaging around turning off your solar. They wanted to know whether that meant for them or whether it was just for Broken Hill, and the good news is Mark gave us good advice, and that now will be picked up, and so it is for everyone. If people can turn off their solar during the day when it's safe to do so, that's for all communities. It just helps us stabilise the grid, and it's very good. People just want some certainty about how long this is going to take, but they're pretty happy about that. And look, there are also some questions, really interesting ones, around microgrids and how we can actually build resilience for the future in smaller communities. So the idea of having, community batteries that can soak up solar with diesel backup, and people really maximising the solar they've got. I think that's an issue for the future, but I think people are very alive to that, and that was really very helpful. The other information that I wanted to announce today is that trucks have arrived and are starting to arrive across the Far West delivering food hampers. They've dropped some in Menindee and they're on their way to Wilcannia, and there'll also be some in Broken Hill. This is really for, if you had to throw out the contents of your fridge and you need some food, you can do that. There's pallets of food hampers. And these are also supplied. I want to thank Food Bank for the work that they've been doing in relation to that. The other information that I wanted to provide to people is that in Broken Hill and other communities that all schools will be open tomorrow, so everyone can send the kids to school. And again, just remind people that the recovery assistance points will be starting to open on Tuesday and Wednesday. And the times are available for people if they want to do that. Again, finally, just ask, when it hits 5:30 tonight, I know people are probably sick of me saying this. If you can reduce your usage, that would be great. If you can turn off the lights in the rooms that you're not in, if you can turn off non-essential appliances, if you can put the air conditioner a bit hotter than you would normally have it, all of that helps, and all of that's helping as all of the generation is coming on board. I think that we're really, genuinely, to say on behalf of the government, pleased with the progress that both the work that Essential and Transgrid have done in relation to this. There's been serious progress in the last 48 hours, and we're not out of the woods yet, but we're very hopeful that will continue as we see the towers. And just so people know, there's 3 up, there's 4 to go. And to Superintendent Cooper.
Thank you, Minister. Not much of an update from an emergency response point of view. Our business continuity remains in place for all policing services, and across our EM arrangements, we look forward to continuing to support the combat agency Essential and Transgrid to restore power to the area. And I again just call out the resilience in particular of our communities and our smaller communities, who just continue to impress me with just getting on with the job. And I know that there are a number of generators that are currently being distributed around, particularly the Menindee community, which will alleviate some of those concerns over there. But I thank the community for their patience and support. Thank you.
So, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to reiterate and I guess thank the community again for their patience while we work through the response across the Broken Hill and surrounding area. And also a big thanks to all of our staff. The teams have been working around the clock, particularly at the zone substation in setting up and establishing some further infrastructure to support the generation there, to keep the rural areas on with supply. So huge thanks to our staff there, and the staff also that have been working throughout the evenings to make sure that we keeping an eye on our load on each of the urban feeders, particularly so we don't have to do any further load shedding. Just a big reminder too around the solar import. So yes, for Broken Hill and the surrounding areas, so all of the rural areas as well, if you feel safe to, please, if you could help with that throughout the day. It's going to be another warm day again today, nice and sunny, so the solars will be kicking in quite well. So if we could turn any of them solar systems off that you feel safe to do so, please do. And again, just a reminder, as we come into that evening peak, we were able to avoid any load shedding last night across the network, hoping to do so the same again tonight. But you do see that evening peak from that 4 o'clock onwards, 4:30, 5:30, that evening peak does start to climb and is starting to get up there towards the limits of the generation, particularly in that Broken Hill area. So if we could definitely keep an eye on what usage and what items in our households we are using at that evening peak, that would be much appreciated. And once again, thank you very much for the community and the resilience that they're showing to work our way through this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Today, I want to start again by thanking the Broken Hill community for their ongoing patience as we continue to reconstruct those 7 high-voltage transmission towers. I would also like to thank our teams who are working to restore mains power to Broken Hill as quickly and as safely as possible. I now want to take the time to provide an update to the community on our progress over the past 24 hours. From a backup power perspective, Transgrid's large-scale backup generator continues to supply Broken Hill, while some areas are being serviced by small generators connected to Essential Energy's local network. The large-scale grid battery has been successfully charging by drawing power from the local grid. Our specialists continue to work to deploy additional portable generation solutions to minimise the risk of interruption to the power supply in Broken Hill. This battery is now operating as the first part of our microgrid, which will support the backup generator. This means we are continuing to build greater resilience back into the grid. It's taken a significant effort to get to this point, and that is in no small part to the technical expertise of the hundreds of people we have working collaboratively on the emergency response. We acknowledge the support of the New South Wales Government, Essential Energy, the community, and the many businesses that have mobilised to support this response. In further positive news, while the backup generation continues to work well, we are progressing the erection of those 7 transmission towers that will enable the reinstatement of the community's primary electricity supply. I'm pleased to say that over the past 24 hours, as the Minister outlined, we have erected another transmission tower, and the team continues to reconstruct that high voltage transmission power line destroyed in the recent severe weather event. Again, I would like to thank the team for their incredible work in getting these structures built and safely and efficiently as they have. With weather and ground conditions permitting, we will continue to safely put in place the remaining towers so that conductor stringing, testing and energisation can commence. Importantly and lastly, I want to especially acknowledge and thank the community for their response to our request to be mindful of their power usage during peak periods and for continuing to support our efforts here on the ground. Thank you.
Thanks everyone, and good morning. Look, I won't repeat all the messages, but I would like to thank the people who are out there. I ran into a lot of people, spoke to people working in pretty hot, dry and dusty conditions from Canberra, from Tamworth, from South Australia, all here working, over 100 people working to get it back on. So I saw those towers up, hopefully a third and a fourth today. That'd be amazing if we can. So just in terms of the mines are a particular concern. We've got a lot of staff who aren't working, who are burning up their leave. There'll need to be some rectification of that. A lot of money that they're not making at the moment through their normal operations. A lot of money they're putting out in leave entitlements and extra generation. So that's a big cost and certainly something that's going to be a bit of a hit for them. So in terms of communications, and the Minister touched on this, during a crisis, accurate, timely information is so important, which is why we're doing these daily press conferences to get information out to people and make sure there's a source of truth for people. When we have mobile phone towers go down, and we know there's battery issues and maintenance issues with some of the towers, originally we put generators on them, which was great because it meant they powered up. But as soon as the GT was started after one of its stoppages, Telstra started pulling those generators off. There's now an agreement that those generators will stay in place until we get to the point that we've actually got the main supply line energised, which means that we're going to continue to have a backup for comms, which is so important because when people are uncertain, when they don't have a good source of information, and then you take the added compounding pressure of not being able to communicate themselves, that makes it that much harder. So that's something really important that I'd like to just let people know, that you shouldn't have comms outages as frequently as you did before. But thanks again to everyone who's working round the clock to try and get this sorted. I am taking some heart that we're almost at a point in terms of the portable generators, be it the islanded communities or even Broken Hill. We're getting to a point where even if the gas turbine was to not be working, we've almost got enough power to make sure that everyone still has power in their homes and businesses. So that's good news and something that I think we've all been striving towards for the last 10 or 11 days. Thank you.
Take questions on this. I've got another issue to deal with separately, but if there's anyone who wants to ask questions on this one.
I suppose these one, Minister, just then, are you satisfied with the level of progress so far?
Look, I think off a slow start, I think we're now seeing really great progress, and what I saw this morning was very impressive. Workers, they're really putting everything into this. They've got good plans. There's more people coming on every day. We almost saw that third tower go up and the plans are in there. I mean, there's 7 there. If we get to 4 today, 4 out of 7 is pretty good, and that means that it'll be energised as quickly as possible. So, look, I think really good progress. There's more people coming, more bits of kit being delivered to the site all of the time. It really is a hive of activity. And again, thank the workers, whether they're from here, whether they're from away, whether they're from interstate. They're just really working very hard, and the team that's managing them carefully and safely that's really important.
Being in the outer communities yesterday, it's a lot different to being in Broken Hill. What sort of questions and feedback we're getting from those people?
Look, the first thing I'll just say, there are tough mob out there, and look, they're obviously just relieved that the power's back on. They've got the same questions that everyone else had. How do we stop this from happening in the future? How did this happen in the first place? But really, they wanted clear information from us. Do they need to, take their solar off? What can they do for the future? I mean, I think the feedback that I generally say is, look, people very happy that it's back on. Very pleased that Essential managed to get that island working. But look, the real questions for them are, they're used to weather events. They're used to things being challenging, but they do think it's unacceptable that they've been, sort of left with just one generator, and they want to know what's going to happen to be fixed in the future.
And we're just hearing, we'll touch on the mining companies, and Roy Butler mentioned it. We're hearing that they may not be back to full production until probably closer to the end of the month, which is a multi-million-dollar loss to them. Not forgetting the workers are sitting home, many chewing up their annual leave or on leave without pay. Has there been further discussions at government level about some sort of compensation for them?
Yes, look, we are working through that. I'll hopefully be able to give you some more information pretty soon about that. We know that it's a problem. I'm looking forward to catching up actually with the mines this week when we can. So I think we're very focused on it. We accept that it's a really big problem, and we want to, provide support. I don't have an answer today, but we are working through it, and we're very aware of the issue.
Did you want to do everything else? Or do you want me to?
Has anyone got any? You got nothing else?
Yeah.
Why don't we do all of that, and then I'll do this.
I'll
do the other stuff.
All right.
Yep. That's fine.
Sam. Yeah. So just I suppose the question is, with the towers going up, and we're hearing the term energised, once the tower's up, is that when you run the wires?
Yes, that's essentially correct. So the towers will go up, and once all those 7 towers up, the conductors, the cables will be strung, and once they're clipped in and it's safe to do so, we'll energise that line.
The tower's up, and we heard probably Tower 3 may go up today and 4 tomorrow. Has this sort of brought forward your timeline of actually having it fully operational?
Look, the team's working, as I mentioned, as quickly and safely as possible. There are, weather conditions, ground conditions, and the like that we do need to consider. We'll continue to assess that time frame as we work through that, and the progress is made.
And with the AGL battery coming online and being part of the mini grid, how much power does that provide a day?
The BESS, the battery energy storage system, is fundamentally there to support peak load periods. So that, as I mentioned, the gas turbine continues to provide supply, and in the event that our peak load is pushed, it's then that the BESS will kick in and provide that additional supply. So it's quite dependent.
And the generator run by diesel, how much diesel are you going through a day?
We've got 40 to 50,000 litres on site, and we'll continue to utilise that as the GTs continue to, move through the different levels of supply.
Beautiful. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, I'll just do this bit. This is about Kosciuszko National
So
Park.
this is not
We did beaches yesterday. This one's is not a good one, so I might just go through this. Look, thanks. Look, I just wanted to bring to the attention of the public that a 48-year-old woman has been missing in the Kosciuszko National Park for more than 2 weeks. Lavissa Schuberg, who's also known as Kiki, is a 48-year-old woman who is believed to have been living in the Jindabyne area and is known to visit the Kyandra area and national parks around the Snowy Mountains. She was last spoken with on Tuesday, the 8th of October. It's believed that she was driving a grey Mitsubishi Outlander with the New South Wales registration DF25BA on Tuesday the 15th of October in the Kosciuszko National Park. The hire car company reported the vehicle as overdue for return and then located it at Kyandra Courthouse via GPS. Keys were left in the car and there were no personal belongings in it. The police have been investigating and the alarm has been raised. The really challenging thing here is, police with the RFS, SES and National Parks have been part of the search. The RFS and Westpac helicopters are involved and National Parks are also part of the search. But so far we have not been able to find Lavissa. I just wanted to say today we thank the members of the public for their assistance so far, but the search is continuing. For those that are visiting the area, please keep an eye out for her. The police have a forward command that's been set up at the old Kyandra Courthouse, and police are asking, and all of our services are just asking for any assistance. If people are in the area, just keep an eye out for her. We're very concerned for her well-being, and we hope that we'll be able to find her soon.
Now, I've got one more for you.
Sure.
Results of the Queensland election. Is there a message there for the New South Wales government?
Look, I think every election just tells any government that you have to keep the support of, the people, and you need to work hard for them, that no election is guaranteed. I know that in New South Wales, Chris Minns is very focused and the rest of the team, we're all very focused on doing the things that we need to do that support the people of New South Wales and make New South Wales a better place and a safer place for people to live in. That's our focus. If we don't do that, we'll have a tough time in 2027.
The cost of living has been a major issue up there, which comes back to a federal level. How much does the federal influence have on a state election like this and the cost of living?
Look, I can't speak for Queensland. Our election is 2 years away, but what we do know is that cost of living is the number one issue for households in New South Wales. We are focused on that every day around how we can assist, how we can make it easier for people, whether it's through their energy bills or a range of other support. But look, it's no doubt, and it's a big challenge in New South Wales. The cost of housing is an issue. It's part of our focus is to provide more supply. And, once we... that's really, I think, the big issue for us. That's our focus. If we get that wrong, I'm sure the people will let us know in 27.
The outgoing Premier was given the keys to the family car. Labor have been in power for so long. He went off-road a bit, went a bit rogue.
Sorry, I don't know who you're talking about, sorry.
The Queensland Premier.
Oh, the Queensland Premier, Stephen Miles.
Yeah.
No, look, I think Stephen Miles did a really an incredible campaign. I think that he put the case to the people. The government's been there for a long time, and I think that always puts challenges in there. For those that have lost their seats, of course that's tough, but, I think that, Stephen Miles did a very good job as Premier, and he ran a really good campaign.
Beauty.